Hello guys and welcome back. In this video I want to talk to you about something that's motivated me a lot along the way, especially in the early days. It's the fact that anything can change at any given time. You know, any given time in your life things can change. So you could be sat there at 25 years old, your life's shit, your boss is right in your ass, nothing's going well, you've got no money, you're not in the shape you want to be. You're not getting the girls that you want. Every day you're going to work. It might be a Tuesday, it's pissing hard with rain, it's cold, you're pissed off, you can't even afford a warm coat. I've been there. And, and you just keep dreaming of being somewhere else. You see maybe somebody on YouTube or somebody on Instagram, they're doing something else, or myself sat here making videos, and you're thinking to yourself, why can't I have that life? Well, it comes from a relentless amount of hard work, and you've got to put it in at some point. It might be 5, 6 years, 10 years, 12 years, but at some point you've got to put it in. And the great thing about doing that and having that optimism about moving forward in life is that you get to live with that belief, and this is what kept me going, that one day things will change. One day things will be different. And the more you work and the longer that you work for, every day that could be tomorrow. So in the early days, 2-3 years in, you're just working off kind of youthful exuberance. You're just working off beginner's luck and stuff in business. Everything's fun at that point. It's almost like a relationship in the early days. Everything's great. Then things get tough. You haven't had money for a while. You reinvest in everything. Everything's difficult, but you always have that belief. The longer that you're going on, the more you're stuck in that grind. Your business becomes like a child or whatever it is, and you'll always think to yourself that everything could change tomorrow. Tomorrow could be the day that, I'm a singer, I've made 15 songs this month. One of those could pop off. The royalties that I make off those could be enough to fund this full time. And then I can leave my job. That's a life-changing experience. Being able to just make the same amount of money from home that you make from your 9-to-5 job, but being able to have more time to work on your business. That alone changes the game. That alone is a massive game changer. And people don't realize that the one thing that always kept me going is, I'd go to work on a pissing hard, raining Monday. It was cold. Like I said, I had a coat that wasn't big enough. I couldn't afford a warm coat. And I was wearing pretty much the same shirt every day. I just wash it and iron it every single night. And I'd go into work with like shoes that 10 years too old, or let's say 2-3 years too old, scuffing around the place, no grip left on them, slipping everywhere. But I went into work, but I'd always dream. I'd always think, imagine if I was waking up this morning, I'd always look at this same apartment. I remember when I was going in, I'd look up and I'd see this big glass apartment. And I went to view it once for law of attraction purposes, which was good. But I'd look up at this big apartment, and they always had their light on at like 7:30 in the morning. And I'd come out of the gym, and I'd be getting on the train to go to work, and I'd look up, or getting in the car to go to work, depending on what I had at the time. And I'd look up and I'd just see I'd see this apartment, and I was like, shit, imagine if it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you're sat there with your nice warm tea, watching all these people walking to work, it's pissing hard with rain, and I'm just doing podcasts, I'm doing interviews, I'm setting up projects, I'm doing videos like this in the warm, and I'm able to put 12 hours of work in per day and still be back earlier than I would if I was at work. Because work starts at I have to get up early to go to the gym, or I had to get up early to go to the gym, but then work would start at starts at 8 o'clock when you're getting on that train or getting in that car and making that journey. That's when you're really dedicated to that day. And then it doesn't finish till you get home, and that might be 6-7 o'clock at night. So you're wasting all that time being at work when you could be doing something else. And when you're at home all day, you could get up at 8, you could still hit the gym and then be in work in your office, working at 9 at the same time. And then you could still do a 12-hour day and be back, in your house at pretty much the same time. You could do a 10-hour day and still be back in your house at the same time, 7 o'clock, and then sit down and relax, watch TV, go out for a meal or whatever you want to do. And that's the difference, the amount of time. But that's what kept me motivated, is just thinking that I could be in that place one day. Everything could change tomorrow. If I keep putting this work in, I don't know, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be next month, it could be in 6 months, it could be in a year, it could be in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but it's not a lot of time. That's not a lot of time. If somebody said to me, you're 28 today, in 5 years' time, you'll have everything you've ever wanted, I'd shake their hand immediately, because I'd say that's barely any amount of time. If they said in 10 years you'll have everything you've ever wanted, I'd shake their hand immediately. Imagine 38 and you've ticked every box you've ever wanted in life. You're as rich as you've ever wanted to be. You've got every asset, every house, whatever. Your life is perfectly positioned. You've accomplished all your goals. That's young. That's super young. And people need to understand that, it might take 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, but everything can change tomorrow. You don't know when it's going to be. Gary Vee always said it only takes one piece of content. Well, yeah, he's right. It does. Or it only takes one video, or it only takes one person like addicted to success. The Rock found one of his articles talking about The Rock's tips for success, or why The Rock is successful. The Rock shared it, and then Addicted to Success became one of the biggest success and motivation websites in the world. And the guy who ran it left his job, became a multimillionaire. You don't know when that's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to change. And it's hard because you need to work blindly with that optimism, and you need to just keep pushing forward every day and just reinvest in the money and just have belief when no one else can see it. And I know that's cliche, but you've got to add some substance to that belief. So I always pictured, like I said, up in that apartment, whatever. But the other one that always kept me going, I think when I was at home with my mum and I was just working in my bedroom every day, in the early days of MSI college, when I was like 16, 17, 18, closer to 18. And I would always picture, like, instead of going to work, I would picture getting up in the morning, getting in like a Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini, whatever, drive into, I don't know, some girl's house that's like a model that I've met or something, picking her up and being like, let's go to Paris for 2-3 days, from Monday to Wednesday. Let's just go to Paris. Let's go and enjoy ourselves, walk around, have some nice food, go and look around the Louvre. And I just thought that was just such a better life. And I was like, the belief that I had was that was possible. A lot of people don't think that's possible. I always knew that was possible, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something like that. I always knew that I could get paid and just be enjoying myself. Some money could be coming in and I could just be traveling the world. I could be working for 10 days straight, and then I'm like, do you know what? I want to take 4 off. It's a nice little 2-week spell. I'm going to take 4 days off. Or I'll work really hard for 25 days, and then at the end of the month be like, I'm going to take 6 days off. I'm going to have a nice little break. I'm going to have 6 days to myself, or I'm going to go and, get on a flight, go somewhere like Paris with a woman and just drive around, walk around, just go and sightsee, eat food, relax, enjoy that woman's company, and just do things that I wanted to do, or just do fun shit, or just fly to Madrid on a Wednesday night and go and watch a Champions League game against somebody like Bayern Munich, just because I felt like doing it, and then have a whole day the next day in Madrid and then fly back and just have that experience. And that's what kept me going. And there's different forms of motivation, but knowing that shit can change overnight, just knowing that you have that ability, guys, it might just click tomorrow, it might just click next week, it might click next month. It doesn't matter when it is. You have to think that it's going to click in 10 years. That's the way you have to think, is you have to just put your head down, give yourself 10 years and work relentlessly every day. And then kind of let the hard work decide for you. Let life decide for you. Because it might be 4 years down the line, somebody shares your article or shares your video, or you make a certain piece of content that does really well. Bang, you got 2 brand deals or something, you got more money than you've ever seen in your life, and you've got more followers than ever, or the brand is making more sales than ever, or you just land some sort of deal that sets you up for the rest of your life. You don't know when that's going to come. But having that belief that things could change tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, is what keeps you going. It motivates you. And it really can just change at any time, guys. It can change at any time, and you have to have that belief that the way things are right now aren't how they're always going to be. And they don't have to be either. That's not normal life. Going to work every day in the pissing rain, getting told what to do and just typing up a bit of paperwork and getting told it isn't good enough, you have to do it again. You go back to your desk, and you do these boring, mundane tasks. That's not what life is about. It's necessary to do things like that for a couple of years to fund your dream. But as long as you put the work in, I promise you things will change. And it's just that inner belief you have to keep in your mind every single day. What do you actually want to do today? I used to wake up on a Thursday morning, Wednesday morning, middle of the week, pissed off, right? Maybe you're ill, maybe you're tired, whatever it would be. I'd wake up and I'd think, okay, I got work today, I got to go and do this shit, but what would I want to do? And I'd think, okay, I'd probably want to go and sit in that penthouse apartment up there, all glass apartment, have 3 podcasts booked in today, be doing them and then put them out there, get a ton of views. Maybe tonight there's a Champions League game on. I'd love to do a live stream with 4 or 5 football experts and then have that being streamed, and then tonight go to the gym or something. I'd be like, that would be my dream day. And I just put that in my head all day and be like, imagine if I was doing that. That'd be a great day. Maybe that's going to happen in 2 years. Maybe that's going to happen in 3 years. And I just keep in my mind that one day this is going to be a real thing and just visualize that fact. Or, I'd wake up or it'd be a Sunday afternoon and I'd be getting my lunch ready, or my Sunday evening I'd be getting my lunch ready for work the next day, meal prepping. And I'd be thinking, I'll work tomorrow. The weekend was fun, but never mind, shit, here we go again. And I'd think, what would I really want to be doing tonight and tomorrow? And I'd think, tonight I'd love to get on a flight, go to Paris. Like I said, take a woman or something, or take a couple of your mates, jump on a flight, go to Paris, wake up there in the morning and then have 2 or 3 days there. It's one of like my dreams. Or go to like New York overnight, so when you wake up you're not jet lagged, and then just be there and have 2 or 3 days in the place, or a week in the place, and then come back. Or even just when I was in the early days, just drive down to London and just have a whole day down in London, just sightseeing, just doing different things, and then come back fully energized and refreshed. That was kind of, I think, what do I want to do? And I think it's really important for you guys to do something like that, is to wake up every day and be like, what would I want to do today? And then not be mad about that. Not be mad that you can't do what you want to do, but actually hold it in your mind and go, it's actually good that I know where I want to be. It's actually good that I have this vision and I'm working towards it. And next year, this could all be possible. In 3 years, this could all be possible. If you're like 27 years old and you're like, God, in 3 years, I could be doing that every single day for the rest of my life, doing what I want to do, working on my business, whatever it might be. For example, like today, my life is good. Today, my life is good. I've got no boss. I've got nobody telling me what to do. My shirts are arriving soon. I'm going to be selling them. But what kind of motivates me the most is that I think to myself, this time next year, I could be sat there and I'm filming for the streaming platform and I'm going around and I'm doing the coolest football pitches one, which is one that I've wanted to do for years. And I'm on that football island in Norway and I've got a drone and I'm filming, I'm getting some cool shots. We've got a presenter on set, a videographer, maybe a whole crew. Maybe I've got like a PA who's documenting everything, taking my emails, whatever, replying for me. And I've got somebody back in an office at home and they're editing and things are moving quick. And I keep that in my mind. And I think this is going to be so cool when this all comes together. And, then we release the streaming platform and there's just hundreds of thousands coming in per month. And then the content goes up another level and you're on set and you're filming for an actual Hollywood type film. And I leave those thoughts in my head now. I think, how could it be next year? Things are good now, but what can they be next year? What can they be the year after that? And you keep that thought in your mind and you work with that in your head. And you always just remember that things could change tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years' time. But they're going to change as long as you keep working towards something. It's the compound effect. And that singular motivation is, I didn't realize this, but people don't do that. People don't visualize in their head throughout the day. Like I'll have moments where I'll just sit here in my chair, maybe I've stopped the camera, and I just think, I just picture, and I'm just visualizing. I don't even close my eyes. I'm just daydreaming. And I'm just looking, and I sit there, I wake up, I'm like, wow, I just pictured myself filming that project in this place with this much in the bank. And I drove there in my McLaren, and I did this and that. And I just do that every single day. And I've done that since I was young. I'm shocked to find out that most people don't do that. Most people don't have that ability where they can see it before it happens. And you've got to do that, guys. You've got to get in the habit of just seeing it all the time. And even if law of attraction isn't real, what it gives you is motivation in here. It gives you that optimism, and it makes you go, no, well, I've seen it. If somebody said to you Bigfoot's real, you wouldn't believe them. If you saw it, you'd go, maybe Bigfoot's real. Maybe I need to go and have a little look at this. When people say I'm going to be rich, that's just a statement. If you can see yourself being rich, if you can see the scenario where you've got that money and who you will be and what you'll have, and if you say to people, I'm going to work for myself and I'm going to be free, I'm not going to have this 9-to-5 job, I'm going to be here doing this is my real dream, I'm going to be making jewelry from this office with this many staff, this many people, and you visualize that every day. Maybe you close your eyes, put your headphones in, maybe you sit there and you just daydream, like myself, and I do both actually. And you just keep visualizing it, then it becomes more realistic every single time. It becomes easier to achieve because you've seen it 10 million times by the time it happens, that when it does, you know what to do. You know all the steps to get there. You know how to put everything in place. You're not fearful of it. I see goalkeepers before games, they close their eyes and they're making saves like this. They're picturing making a catch, so that when it happens in the game, they're like, I know this. I've seen this. I've seen this one. Bang, got it. Throw. It's the same in success in life, and motivation. You just got to keep it in your head all the time and just keep thinking, tomorrow will be different. This time next year, here's what's going to be happening. Here's in 5 years' time, here's where I'm going to be. Here's the man that I'm going to be. And it just keeps you going, guys. And that's one of my biggest tips for motivation. That moment that you get in your gut where you're just, you get excited for no reason. I love that feeling. You just sat there one day and you just get a feeling of optimism and you're like, things are going to be great. I know how they're going to be. I know how things are going to go. If you just keep that in your heart, in your mind, whatever it might be, and you keep that as motivation, you keep visualizing, I promise you, number one, it will keep you motivated. Number two, it will come true as long as you work hard to keep going. But it's just nice, isn't it? It's nice to think next year it's all going to be different. Next year I'm going to have that freedom. It's going to be snowing and I'm going to be sat in the house nice and warm with a cup of tea, doing exactly what I want to do, making thousands more than I would be if I was sat behind a desk, soaking wet and cold, from the commute. Things will change, guys. You just got to stay motivated. You got to stay optimistic. Keep visualizing. Things might change tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years, but they will change as long as you keep going. Never forget that.